you might be able to do all the things that make a really good player, but if your attitude isn't effective towards them, people are going to be, not so much willing to get involved.
Jordan Silk jumped into the drill. The intensity of the drill went so much higher as soon as he entered it, purely because of how he approached the session.
Is what you're doing in your private time or time away from the game, where you can make little decisions in your day-to-day that's going to add up for a big outcome.
Welcome back to the MYPEAC channel, where we improve your performance through holistic development. Geordie, what are we talking today?
Yeah, Cam, exciting episode today. We are zooming in on our leadership lens, and we're going to particularly be talking about modeling.
You've been here before, let's get straight into it.
Yeah, sit back, relax and enjoy. So before we get started, for you guys listening at home, leadership is one of the things that can have a direct impact on your skills component. So when we look at the Australian cricket team, we see it's filled with leaders. So the question we have for you at home are the best players leaders, or are leaders the best players?
Gee, it's a good question. It makes you think, doesn't it? It's what does come first?
Yeah, it's actually made me scratch my head a little bit, because you never really think about this until you sit down and go, what actually makes a good leader, and why are these people who are natural leaders at the top of their game?
Yeah, that's right. So today we're going to discuss a few things. I think, like we said, when you think of leadership, you always think of well, maybe not always, but people think of speeches, motivation, the words that you use to inspire people. But today we're going to take it down a different path, and we're going to discuss about your actions, what you prioritize, and how you measure this as well has a direct impact on how you lead other people.
That's really good. So I think for priorities, the thing that comes to mind for me, and the thing we would encourage you to think about at home in a cricket context, is what kind of behaviours or what kind of things are you prioritising when you're not at training, when you're not with your team members, and when you're on your own. That's the real test of self-control and how much you really want to become a leader, is what you're doing in your private time or time away from the game, where you can make little decisions in your day-to-day that's going to add up for a big outcome.
Yeah, and it's the attitude you have to that too. Because remember, when you walk to training, if you are a leader, people are already looking to you to follow for certain, whether it's the starter drill at training, whether it's this person's going at this intensity, I need to match it. There's always people at training that you turn to, and a lot of that is based off your attitude and your input into the session.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because you might be able to do all the things that make a really good player, but if your attitude isn't effective towards them, people are going to be, not so much willing to get involved. So that's a really good point.
Little one I remember, I think I've told it on the MyPEAC podcast before, but I remember being 15-year-old cricketer, just started playing grade cricket, doing a fielding drill, and Jordan Silk jumped into the drill. And he would have been, how old was Silky? A few years older than us. So the intensity of the drill went so much higher as soon as he entered it, purely because of how he approached the session. And that was a form of leadership. How he acted in that drill actually increased the intensity just through his actions.
It's good. And like we're talking about here, the priorities first is, he prioritised his fielding. Yeah. He prioritised the little things, the good positions, the 1% efforts. And then all of a sudden, if he can inspire 11 other people to do that, of course the intensity of the session is going to lift.
And that does link us to the actions, because we all watched and going, or we can look back on it now and say that he's the best fielder in the world. So we want to do what he does, because we know that the actions are aligned to his priorities of improving his fielding.
And it comes back to that original question, is he the best fielder in the world because he was first able to bring those things to the drill, or just because he had that natural skill? So, really good.
And this is going to take us down a slightly different route, where I think this is something a lot of people don't think about, and it's how you measure what you do, particularly as a leader. So to give this a bit of context, I'm going to use an example which I think you hear a lot of people say, leaders care, and every leader cares, but how you measure that has a direct correlation to how people follow you. So for example, I reckon this is a good one. Playing cricket, it's a 2-dayer, Saturday, Sunday. I'm a leader, I care about my players, but I've been at the ground all weekend. I just want to get home. I'm pretty cooked. One of the young players asked a question. Look, mate, not the best time. We'll address this at training on Tuesday. So your words told people that you care. You tell them, I want to put you first, but your actions haven't followed that, because when they needed you, you prioritised going home, getting away from training or away from the game, whatever it is. It might be a game of footy on TV. You might be getting home to your family, whatever the case might be. You might have a party you got to get to. So you tell them you care, but do your actions actually give that message, and do people receive that message by your actions?
Yeah, that's good. And I think that's where, to break it down quite simply, something you're going to measure off is the feedback. So it's the feedback that you're getting from the people that you're leading. And if it's not consistent with the way that it's perceived in your head, well then, unfortunately, maybe the actions or the priorities that you're putting in place aren't coming across to the people you're leading quite effectively enough.
Absolutely. A really good story I heard when I was doing my level 3, actually. I told you this one a few times, Geordie, and about measuring, where this coach was going to the WACA to play a game of shield cricket. And the game plan was, obviously, the WACA really bouncy pitches. We don't want to drive on the up against the new ball. Anyway, early in the game, I think it was the first over, they said, and one of the players on the up, beautiful off drive back down the ground, and there's the coach, all the players, great shot, how good's that? This is great, boys, get around it, that's the best shot ever. Anyway, next over, played the exact same shot, nicked it to first slip, out court. Anyway, coach blows up. We said no driving on the up, it's the WACA. Too risky. You went out there and you played the shot. So there's the reinforcement of the execution, tells them they did a good job. Then they've made the exact same decision with different execution, and you've given a different response.
Yeah.
So how you've measured the performance there is a direct correlation to how you've led that person, and also, more importantly, the other 10 or 9 players sitting in the dugout that day that is watching it.
Yeah. And I think that's a great story, and we can listen to that story, and it's so obvious from our point of view where the coach got it wrong. But I think it's really important to highlight that leadership is hard and mistakes are going to be made. And I think when you put yourself out there as a leader, the mistakes almost hit twofold, tenfold, because you're not just, making mistakes internally. It's not you and your close support network. It's everyone around you that sees the mistakes. So I think it's important we understand that, yes, there is going to be failures and mistakes when you put yourself out there and work on your leadership skills, but we know over time the impact that they can have, and not just on you, but the people around you. So I think it's okay to make sure that we do say, particularly in this first episode here about leadership, that it's going to be a journey, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be a worthwhile one.
Yeah, and that's where you link the two together. Today we're talking about modeling and how your actions influence it. But if there is times where you catch yourself, oh, I shouldn't have done that, then you can use the two. You can be vulnerable, discuss, I've got that wrong. Let's, next time moving forward, A, B, or C. So you can use the two, understand how your actions influence what you say. But then on the flip side, when you know your actions aren't there, that awareness of knowing that can then help you be vulnerable with your discussions.
Yeah, perfect. This is a really important time, guys, where the QR code will come up onto the screen, or click the link below in the description where you can do a reflection on this video. A really important one, as we've unpacked a brand new topic here. So make sure you scan that or click that now. Other than that, see you guys in the next one.